What I want you to see here is how to use the clay extruder, a really useful tool within ceramics. And you can see on the wall next to it there's all these dies which enable you to make the different shapes and forms. You've got an internal and an external die, which is how you're able to create hollow forms from it. Really useful. This tub's got some of the extra tools and bits and pieces you're going to need, particularly these two, a sleeve and a bolt, to mount some of those dies to the machine. Let's get started. There's some steps on the floor next to the machine. You're going to need those in order to reach the top of the handle and get enough leverage for forcing the clay through. It can be surprising how much force you do need to use to push through it. You can see I've opened up the front of the machine, and that's how we're going to fix the dies to it. If you look closely, you can see there's a little ridge, look, just there. You need the outer die to sit on top of that. It can be a little bit difficult to first get it in there. It's quite a stiff fit. And then we need to mount the inner die with the bolt first and the sleeve over the top. And then can you see on the inside again, there's this bar, there's a hole in the middle there, which has got a threaded hole, and the bolt fits right into that thread on there, and that should be then centered. There should be an Allen key in here, and you can use that to tighten up that bolt. Might need a little bit of adjustment just to feel satisfied it's even all round. This is very important, the safety catch. This is what stops the handle coming down on your head. So when it's in that position, it enables the plunger to go up and down. When it's in that position, it's locked and the handle and the plunger won't go up and down. What I'm using here is a little bit of thin oil, WD-40, and that resists the water in the clay, so it makes it a lot easier to clean up when you've finished. And of course you want to make sure your clay is well prepared before you start. Soft clay that's been kneaded and wedged. It's going to be a lot easier to extrude. With the first extrusion, you can have the front door open and mount the clay into the machine. And then close up that front door and it locks in position. Take the safety catch off and we're ready to pull the handle, and the plunger comes down. Now if I keep hold of that as I push the handle down, it helps to keep that extrusion straight. Lift the handle back up and put the safety catch back on. And you can see on the inside, look, the oil's done its job, the clay hasn't got stuck to that plunger and it's pushed through nicely. These on the side here are guides for the wire when you come to cut off your extrusion, so they enable you to get a nice neat straight cut. There is a clay wire or a harp on the side of the machine. You can use that resting against those guides to cut off your extrusion. Turn it upside down and it will sit upright because it's straight. Now when you come to do the next extrusion, look, there's only a small gap because we've got the door closed, so if you grab hold of the top you can open that up and start to load in the next clay ready for your next extrusion. Now there's two of us here now, and you'll see how this tool is a lot easier to use when there's two of you on there. If you've got somebody pulling the handle and a second person guiding the clay, you can do a little bit more with this machine, and it's less tiring to use as well. So same again with the clay wire running on the guides. There we go. Look how soft this clay is when it comes straight out of the extrusion. You can do a lot with this that you wouldn't be able to do if you just hand built that or coil built it. It's a very different way of approaching ceramics. Now here's an example of something that you can only do when there is two of you. If somebody else is pulling the handle, you can guide the clay over to one side to make it curved or misshapen. This is something that you can only do when there is two of you. And in this case, this one's just come straight off, sort of torn off rather than having to cut it. But quite a sizable hollow piece. Now look what's happened here. The clay has got stuck to the top of the plunger, and we needed a little bit more oil on the top as we were using it. So it's done its job below, but we need to get that clay off the plunger for the next extrusion. You can also see how easy it is to start cutting and manipulating any of those extrusions, and you could be building other forms from just those. As we're finishing, it's important to dismantle the machine so you can clean it, and of course it will be ready for the next person on there. So it's the reverse of how you put it together in the first place. Really important that you get that little sleeve out of the clay that sits around that bolt holding the center die. Make sure you take those out, we don't want it lost in the reclaim. Plenty of water, and it does take some time to clean up, but vital that you do it. Clean all the dies and then hang them back up on the wall and you're finished.